Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think it is absolutely necessary to add my voice to this very important discourse, as I think it has far-reaching, impact on the people that look up to us for compassion and honest purpose. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I rise today in full support of the motion brought before this esteemed chamber by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Youth Economy, Justice and National Security. The motion seeks Parliament's approval on three key matters, Mr. Speaker. One, that this Honorable House approve the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 3. Number two, order to exempt the importation of two vehicles by MV Logos Hope between...
Remember, you're debating a motion already concluded.
Yes, but I'm going to speak on this motion that's before us.
You can't debate a matter concluded.
So, Mr. Speaker, while I support all three resolutions, I wish to focus my remarks on the third. A measure that speaks directly to our government's resolve to ease the cost of living and stimulate economic activity. Mr. Speaker, this amendment formalizes and extends the suspension of VAT on essential construction materials, including cement, galvanized lumber, plywood, and base metal fittings. This policy was first introduced in the Prime Minister's 2023-2024 budget and took effect on August 2nd, 2023. We are now in 2025, Mr. Speaker. So all the arguments by members opposite regarding, all of a sudden in 2025 that we are taking measures, certainly the facts would refute that. It is scheduled to run through August 2025, and with this order, it will now be extended to May 2026. Why does this matter? Because, Mr. Speaker, the construction sector is a critical engine of growth, not only for the large-scale investors and developers, but also for everyday St. Lucians building, expanding, or repairing their homes. The sector grew by 22.4% in 2024, a clear sign that the removal of VAT on key materials has delivered real, tangible benefits from hotel developers to ordinary families. Indeed, demand for these materials has at times outpaced supply, leading to intermittent shortages. This is a signal, Mr. Speaker, not of policy failure, but of success. Success in stimulating real economic activity. Extending this policy will continue to support jobs, investment, and affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, this resolution also brings welcome relief to the kitchen tables of St. Lucian families. It zero rates a broad range of food items that form part of the average household's gross release. Chicken backs and wings, turkey neck, fish such as herring and mackerel, and staples like butter, cheese, potatoes, garlic, onions, peas, beans, cabbage, oats, coconut oil, sausages, corned beef, sardines, tuna, baby formula, unsweetened biscuits, jams, peanut butter, baking soda, ketchup, and much more, Mr. Speaker. This is not cosmetic policy making. It is a comprehensive response to the global rise in food prices. It reflects this government's unshakable commitment to protecting the most vulnerable and upholding the principle of putting people first. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister made this clear in his 2025-2026 budget address. While we cannot control the international cost of imported goods, we do have control over the taxes and charges imposed domestically. This is why, from June 1st, 2025, we remove both import duties and the 6% service charge on price-controlled food items. Today's resolution builds on these steps by removing VAT and converting many items from exempt to zero-rated, ensuring the benefit is passed directly to consumers. This policy was developed in consultation with the private sector, and its impact will be monitored to ensure St. Lucians receive the relief they deserve. In consonance with these tax reforms, Mr. Speaker, we are diversifying our import markets, particularly for poultry, pork, and beef. Brazil has emerged as a significant source of affordable supply, and government stands ready to support importers who utilize these alternative markets. Let us be clear. This is not lip service, Mr. Speaker. It is strategic, deliberate action grounded in compassion, fiscal discipline, and social justice. Yet, despite these tangible interventions, Mr. Speaker, we continue to hear a chorus of cynicism and misinformation, much of it driven by the opposition. And recently, Mr. Speaker, and I find it absolutely fitting to allude to an article written by one of the new candidates of the UWP. And that is Mr. Tommy Descat, the UWP candidate for Kaswi South. And in this article, I think at the end he said that he identifies himself as a St. Lucian regional economist, an advocate for data and evidence-based policy analysis, and founder of the think tank Island Economics and the data analytics firm, Empirical Insights, Intelligence, and Informatics. However, Mr. Speaker, you can see even the best economic mind has agreed, by the way that he has written the article, that they cannot refute the economic performance of the current administration under the leadership of the most honorable Philip Joseph Pierre. Because, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Descat's article may be wrapped in the rhetoric of policy advocacy, but it falls short of the standard of rigorous economic analysis. He does not provide supporting data. His disregard for broader fiscal context and his selective reading of economic dynamics reveal more about political intent than analytical integrity. Economic policy making must be rooted in comprehensive evidence-based analysis, not in convenient oversimplifications. The St. Lucia Labour Party government's record shows that thoughtful, targeted fiscal measures can simultaneously stabilize public finances, drive recovery, and protect citizens. Assertions to the contrary deserve to be challenged and, where necessary, corrected with facts. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the gentleman is quite capable of responding to legitimate economic arguments. Now, being in the United Workers' Party, that is on a campaign of misinformation, sometimes people are forced to adapt and to try as political candidates to say things to put pressure on the government. But I just want to invite Mr. Descat to return to data and evidence-based policy analysis. Do not devalue the currency of his political integrity to adjust to the glaglanomics and Simegwen politics of the UWP. There is life beyond the next elections for him. I repeat, for the benefit of the member for Beaufort South, that I invite Mr. Descat to return to data and evidence-based policy analysis. And he must not devalue the currency of his professional integrity to adjust to glaglanomics and Simegwen politics of the UWP. There is life beyond the next elections for him. And yes, Simegwen Because, Mr. Speaker, and I say so, because in a recent article, and it's titled Between Global Oil to Local Pain. Mr. Descat portrays the government's fuel pricing policy as a regressive and inflationary tool that disproportionately harms the poor. He claims it suppresses consumption and unfairly enriches the state. But, Mr. Speaker, the problem with his argument is simple. It is completely devoid of evidence. There is no model, no data, no fiscal impact analysis, just slogans dressed up as economic insight. It is essential, Mr. Speaker, to outline the fiscal context the SLP inherited. A primary deficit of 7.7%, an overall deficit of 11.5%, public debt at 92.5% of GDP, and over 184 million in outstanding obligations. Despite this, Mr. Speaker, we acted swiftly and responsibly. Between 2021 and 2024, real GDP grew by 11.3%, 20.6%, 3.3%, and 4.7%. Unemployment fell from 21.9% to 10.8%. GDP per capita rose by 20.6%. And St. Lucia's 2024 inflation was negative 0.52%, the lowest in the ECCU, Mr. Speaker. So if the fuel pricing was fueling inflation, we cannot have inflation at negative 0.52%, the lowest in the ECCU. So this evidence now directly debunks Mr. Descat's argument that fuel taxes are to be blamed for inflation. Antigua and Barbuda, with lower fuel prices, recorded 6.2% inflation, more than 12 times St. Lucia's rate, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, Lucilec pays just 0.50 cents per gallon in fuel tax, a rate that has been unchanged since 2014, and electricity remains VAT exempt. Government has even acted to reduce the pump price to $16 per gallon. So again, Mr. Speaker, where is the burden? Where is the evidence? The Descat critic is not only flawed, it is politically driven. It conveniently ignores the government's sweeping reforms, personal income tax increases and exemptions, tax-free back pay and wage increases for public servants, and a national minimum wage, the rollout of universal health coverage, free CXC fees on laptops for students in certain categories, subsidies on LPG, rice, flour, sugar, and fisher's fuel, VAT exemptions on food and construction materials. This is not austerity, Mr. Speaker. This is what progressive, pro-people fiscal policy looks like, Mr. Speaker. The St. Lucian people can see the difference between data and dogma, between leadership and lip service. They know that while others talk, this government delivers. I therefore proudly endorse this resolution. But before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, I want to make an observation that right now we are headed to the final maybe 14 months, between 12 and 13 months, and they believe that we are inching in a direction of a general elections. So all of them have come forward and tried to foment fear in the people of this country and doubt that this government is not delivering and things have gotten worse, when the people on the ground are saying to you in every constituency that they are better off today, Mr. Speaker. The United Workers' Party thus far cannot come with even the flimsiest of circumstantial evidence to challenge the compassion and the competence of this administration led by the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Now, Mr. Speaker, in keeping with the lies, I am very disappointed in the member for Choiseul Saltibus. I understand people play the politics, but he comes to my constituency and joins others in indicating that he heard me in this honorable house say that for 50 years, Labrie as a separate constituency, nothing happened in Labrie. Now, I can ignore those who on the outside. They can say whatever they want, some of them trying to get into political office, but you, and you know, Mr. Speaker, he's still insisting. I challenge you to get the evidence. I challenge you to get the evidence. I challenge you. You know, when you had your afro, comrade, you were fine. You were fine. You had your afro. You used to behave like a man, speak like a man, tough like a man. Exactly. But from the time you have your little plait with your ring comb in it, Gaza, you change, Gaza.
He used to play drums.
You know, you used to play drums. You were progressive.
Yeah.
Now you have found yourself in a set of circumstances where you are just lying. You know, cut that plait and grow and shape your thing like a man. Because what I said in this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, and you can go in the estimates, on the debate on the estimates for revenue and expenditure. I said that for 50 years, Labrie celebrated last year as a separate constituency, and that for 30 of those 50 years was under the United Workers' Party, and during those 30 years, nothing happened in the constituency. And before that, Mr. Speaker, I went to articulate a whole set of things that Labour Party did, especially under the leadership of the member for Vieux-Fort South, the Honorable Kennedy Anthony. I spoke, how can I, Alva Romanus Baptiste, cooked and baked in the Laborian culture, grew up on the battlefields in the People's Republic of Labrie, say that nothing has happened for 50 years, when I know full well that the old community center was built by the Labour Party, the Vellon-John administrative building was erected by the Labour Party, the Labrie Health Center, Labrie Police Station, the Labrie Jetty, the Labrie Market, water at Majomel, the Majomel Road, electricity and water on the Labrie Bypass, at La Ho, at Béwanger, and many other communities, and many other things I could talk about, including the Black Bay Pom Auger sidewalk,
Member
which will be completed in the near future.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, very briefly, I always like when my friend is speaking, but I will get a copy of what I said.
No, is that
bring it
what
to your
is
attention.
what is the
He's
point?
misleading the House, and you will bring it to his attention, Mr. Speaker.
Member,
I promise you that.
But I also want to say to you before the member for Labrie continues, it is in error to suggest that Hansard is not working. Hold on. For several years, the department of the Hansard within the Parliament office has not been properly staffed to be able to get all the Hansards on time. We have recently been given additional staff, and we've been promised more staff. But that does not mean, if you wish to get an excerpt of what it is the member said since 2021, that it cannot be given. You can get it. What you cannot get is the full Hansard for the sit-in. You realize how efficient we were earlier today when we were able to reproduce within 15 minutes what was said verbatim by the leader of the opposition. So I would caution you about casting aspersions on the staff of the member of Parliament. But if you give us the date he allegedly said it, we can get it.
Mr. Speaker, as night follows day, this honorable member for Choiseul Saltibus can never produce anything contrary to what I have said. The man came in his little Fnabo Sunday thing. And I mean, certainly he's a politician, and I have no issue with people going and campaign all over the island. But when he said, he was in the chamber and he heard it with his own ears, that's what he said. He heard me say that, he was surprised, and he went on and on. I am saying to you, Mr. Speaker, that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for the member for Choiseul Saltibus to provide any evidence to that effect, not even the flimsiest of circumstantial evidence. So when he wants to stop me, I am being respectful to you, Mr. Speaker. That's why I take my seat whilst he's raising his point of order. But certainly he's raising a point of disorder. And if there is anybody misleading the House, it is the member for Choiseul Saltibus. But all I'm saying to you, member, even though you're in your political party and you want to win elections, do not try to lie and misrepresent the truth. Don't do things like that. Don't do things like that. And then you can see those who have come, as if during the movies before, when I was a little boy, going and see karate movies, they always go and send and order Japanese to fight for them. So, you know, those bad fellows have to come and help defeat the star, right? 2 of them come so far, and they have been defeated. We are waiting the 3rd Japanese to come. The 3rd Japanese. No. Now, I will make it very clear that whilst we govern, and you all are keeping noise, and you all are trying to contaminate the well springs of public opinion, we remain focused on what we have to do for the people of this country. But we are always ready to engage you all on the battlefields of ideas. And this is why when we come face to face in this house, you all over the place. You all cannot be focused. You all invent propaganda. You all do all kinds of things. And of course, a while ago, the Honorable Prime Minister said, let's suspend the House to have them to provide the evidence as claimed. And they could not. And the Minister for Health had the leader of the opposition to withdraw many times. And so whilst we govern, we have the capability to defend and to bomb your propaganda. And right now, we are going to be crossing the 4-year mark. The 26th of July, we'll cross the 4-year mark. And I will say to you in this house that the troops on the ground, not us, will continue to govern. They said, go ahead, go in the parliament, go to cabinet, and develop our country. We, the people on the ground, will do the mobilization and the defense. So when you all go and spread your lies and your propaganda on the ground, where the people know that they are better off, it's not going to work. That's why your orange march cannot work. You all try many times to do all sorts of things to have another orange march, but it continues to backfire. Because there is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations. And he understands that a return of the United Workers' Party to the corridors of power will be inimical to the well-being of the people in this country, including the single mothers that you all talk about. All of a sudden, single mothers. What do you all know about single mothers? I was raised by my mother. I know what living and growing up in a single-parent house is all about. And there are some of us in this chamber who can relate to that. We know the horrors. And we know which party that is sensitive when in government to the plight of single mothers. When you all were in government, you all didn't care about single mothers. Or during COVID, you all got in excess of $300 million to provide income support. You all starved them. What did you all do? You know, throughout you all destroy smiles. Yes, you all destroy all kinds of things, all social programs that were put in place by the member for Beaufort South as Prime Minister. You all destroyed all of it. And then in opposition, you all trying to come and be champion of the poor, champion of single mothers. What champion of single mothers? Oh, it's not enough We brought back a number of social programs and we are helping them even more. At no time in the history of this country have any government go to that extent when the world situation is overcast with thunder showers. Despite inflationary pressures, we are able to provide relief to people and get a result of negative 0.52% inflation. That is proper management of the economy. And we did not use COVID as an excuse or the contraction of 24.4% as an excuse not to do things in this country. And Mr. Speaker, finally, there was this debate a few moments ago where the leader of the opposition said that the economy was not in a recession in 2019. It was in a recession in 2019. You will see that Q2 growth rate for 2019 was negative 0.7%. And the Q3 growth rate was negative 2%. The corresponding quarter growth rates for these same quarters, Mr. Speaker, is negative. We're in the social and economic review. So we have gone through that. It's in government Hansard, you know. Because we had that debate already where I took the information and I provided it to this honorable house. So go in government Hansard and get the information, because I came there in this house and refuted what you were saying. You plunged the economy in a recession in 2019 when the world economy was growing, and you're trying to deny under your leadership after the royal turn that were generating.
Member from Mico South.
I would like to know where in the social economic review.
What is your point of order?
Point of order, the member is misleading me, because I don't know where in the social economic review that it shows a quarterly adjustment for growth. Where is that?
Member, would you like to quote the year, the section, page? You have it?
Mr. Speaker, I provided all of that detail. You see the same way you go in all along the internet. No, don't ask me no question. Go in the government answer, because it's already a document of the House. I am not introducing new information. I have gone, go and look for it. Go and do some work. The same way you're on the internet looking for papi show about visa and about this and that. Go on the internet. Go on the government answer.
Point of order?
These are our documents.
The member said it's in the social economic review. I'd love to see where in the social economic review it shows quarterly.
Go and do your research.
Is that 29?
Of course it shows the decline.
Is that 2019 you're looking at? I think
if you look at the quarters.
No, is it 2019?
Yes, in 2019.
I think that is a document.
In 2019. It's a document of the House. And you're asking me for it? You're on the internet looking for all kind of papi show. Huh? Look, I am not asking
Prime
whether
Minister,
that was the case.
Can you take it up?
I am telling you that's the case. We have gone through that debate before. And you know, he stands and says, the member for library is misleading the House. Let me tell you something. When I come and
to be fair, member, he said you're misleading him.
Misleading him?
Yeah.
Well, if I mislead him, that's okay. If you're a victim of misleading information with the facts, what? But you know, Mr. Speaker, I conclude by making it very clear that propaganda will not overwhelm the performance and truth of this administration. You can come with all your Cambridge Analytica. You can order all your people to come to give your party a semblance of organization and rigor. I think that's fine. But in terms of performance, they are quite constrained. And I alluded to your best economic brain, who is quite constrained, quite in a straitjacket as to how he responds to the economic performance of the most honorable Philip Joseph Pierre, the member for Castries East and Minister for Finance. And we are blessed in this country to have a man who's quite conversant with both economics and finance. Both economics and finance, because economics deals with the allocation of resources, but the financial management of the country, that's when you're dealing with the cash flow situation. He can manage the situation quite effectively. And this is why we have been able, even in the aftermath of COVID, when the economy was in a mess, we started giving relief to the most vulnerable in this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, I fully support the motion before us, and I believe that the people that we represent are celebrating in the streets of our nation. May God continue to bless the Prime Minister and this government as we continue the forward march on behalf of the people of this country.